Good morning. You're listening to your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I am attorney Wade Skalsky, and this is Wade Beyond the Courtroom. Joining me on the board today is Mike. Mike, how are you?
There we are. How you doing?
There you are. Welcome.
Doing well.
Welcome, Mike. How are you?
Still getting the hang of this board.
It's okay. Yeah. It's only been what, like 5 or 6 years?
5 or 6 years. Yeah, I'll get
exactly.
there.
We'll get there together.
Yes.
It's a team effort.
I can barely unlock the door.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. Happy Sunday to you.
Happy Sunday to you. I am still feeling very full. I had a delicious dinner cooked for me by our good friends last night, Josh and Lori. So if they're listening, we had a wonderful adult dinner party with them last night.
Nice.
Yes, it was exciting.
Halloween plans?
Yeah, I'm going to a party on Friday and on Saturday.
Do I dare ask what the costume's going to be, or will it be two costumes?
My wife and I are going to try. I think we went to an Oktoberfest thing last week, and so we are in the Oktoberfest mood. So I think I may be wearing lederhosen.
Whoa!
Yes.
Okay.
So and very short socks. So I think that's the plan.
Sounds like fun.
What about you?
Probably pass out candy. I play it real safe.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I thought you were just going to say, probably just going to pass out.
No.
Yeah, just pass out.
Well, what's nice is it's on a Saturday and I'm off on Sunday, except for us here.
Of course.
So, I can cut loose a little bit maybe.
No, but it's the candy on there that changes the whole tenor of the sentence.
2 for you, 1 for me.
That's right. And in that vein, actually, we're going to have a very exciting show about wine today. We're going to be talking with a good friend of mine, Stephen Jones, who is not only studying to become a sommelier, which is, we're going to find out, incredibly difficult,
sommelier,
but also aspires to be a award-winning vintner, which is not a German word for Oktoberfest or beer.
Vintner.
Vintner is a word to become a winemaker. So
right.
Let's. Stephen Jones, are you there?
Hi. Good morning, Wade.
Hey, good morning, Stephen. How are you?
I'm excellent today. How are you?
I'm doing well. Are you wearing a costume for Halloween?
Right at this moment, you mean?
No, not at this moment. That would make great radio, though.
Yes, right now, we'll put it on.
Yeah, exactly. No. For this upcoming holiday, are you going to go to a party and dress up? Or
I am, as a matter of fact, yes.
Are you going to dress up as a sommelier or a vintner? And if so, what would that costume entail?
Well, no, I won't be. If I did, I would be wearing a suit and tie.
Nice.
But no, I will be going as we're doing kind of a family theme. I'll be Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Nice. Well, you are very wise, and so I do come to you for counsel on certain things. So, all right. Well, so let's get right into it. So, for those, let's start with the sommelier part. So, for people who don't know what a sommelier, and Stephen, correct me if I'm wrong, a sommelier is the person that when you go to a fine restaurant or a hotel restaurant, and they are the person that assists you with picking a wine for your meal, and they also run the wine program. Is that fair?
Yes, that's fair.
Okay. And how does one become a sommelier?
Well, there's the Court of Masters out of London that does all the testing worldwide, and there's certain protocol that have to be met. There's actually, you have to go through an introductory exam and course, and once you pass that, then you're allowed to go to the next level, and there's actually a total of 4. The next level is certified sommelier, and then you have to wait about 6 months to become an advanced sommelier, and then the final step is a master sommelier. And at the last that I saw, worldwide, there's just under 200 master sommeliers worldwide.
And there's 7 billion people in the world, and only 200 of them are master sommeliers. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe Forbes actually did an article a couple of years ago where they said the master sommelier examination is one of the toughest exams, professional exams that you can take.
Now, because I think it involves, they just give you a glass of wine and they say, okay, well, what year is this? What's the winery and what kind of varietal it is, right? They don't even give you, it could be anything from like in the last 100 years in any location in the world, right?
Yeah, well, that's true, but it's more than one glass, and it's a total of 6, 3 red, 3 white. You have 5 minutes per glass. You stand in front of a panel of current master sommeliers. You have to be able to define the wine. You have to be able to determine what varietal it is. Is it a Pinot, a Cab, a Syrah? You have to determine the age of the wine, and you have to determine where it's from. And by that means, it could be from Rutherford Vineyards, Napa Valley, California.
Yeah. Wow.
Vintage 2010.
Now, is it in this process to become a sommelier, is it your goal to try to become a master sommelier, or are you you just want to go to, what level do you want to sort of reach?
I want to advance all the way through to the master.
I love it. That's why you're my friend, is
Wow.
You're aggressive and competitive. If you ever do that, I will give you a piece of advice. If you are stumped, all right, on the master sommelier exam, what I want you to say is, Boone's Farm, 1 month ago, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That's if you get in trouble. That's
it.
That's the equivalent of like summer school when all the answers are C, you know?
Yeah,
but okay, so
that's my lifeline. Okay.
right, exactly. So now that process, so how does one study for these tests? I mean, I'm sure obviously there's besides the book studying you'd have to do, is there a suggested way to sort of learn about wines other than just go, hey, let's just go out and go wine tasting every weekend? Like,
actually, in the last few years, it's gotten a little bit more organized in terms of how to study. The exams have always been there, and they're very difficult. The tasting is one aspect of it. There's also service. You have to be able to pass a certain exam on service. And the third part of the exam is theory, and that is where you have to learn literally all of the wine areas, vineyards of the world. You have to know the soil composition, the climate, the types of grapes that are grown in those particular regions, and become familiar with the major vineyards in those different regions. And so you could actually do, since this is a show on the law, you could do an entire show on wine laws worldwide. They vary per country and per region, but they're very extensive. And when you pick up a bottle of wine, what's on that label actually means something. It's not just a bunch of letters. And
right.
So it's quite extensive. And so in the last 10 years, the education to prep those that were interested in becoming sommeliers or master sommeliers has been a bit more organized. You take courses, you have to pay for them, obviously, on your own. They're not offered through the university system. But you go through, and they're taught by advanced and master sommeliers in different areas throughout the country, depending on the schedule. So, there's 2 or 3 here on the West Coast each quarter, and you have to just plan accordingly.
Wow.
Well, I can't wait to unpack this some more with you when we come back from the break. So just hold tight with us to the next segment. Steve will be right back with you. And you're listening to your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I am attorney Wade Skalsky, and this is Wade Beyond the Courtroom. Welcome back. You're listening to your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I am attorney Wade Skalsky, and this is Wade Beyond the Courtroom. We are talking with international man of mystery, Stephen Jones. Stephen, are you there? Oh. There you are. Stephen, you there?
There we are. Yeah,
all right. We've been imbibing of wine this morning, both of us, and that's why we're a little slow on the draw. So that's right. So during the break, we were kind of chatting a little bit, and so I'm actually really excited about this because it will bring a little local flavor for us. So we're located in our studio is downtown Newhall. We're on Main Street, and there actually is a wine. I don't know, is it a business or what exactly is that company you were talking about down here?
Well, it's Pulcella, and it's a wine store in the sense, or a winery. They make their own wines, but they also carry, and you can go in and taste, or you can buy complete bottles. But the interesting thing is they have one that's new that I actually had a chance to taste about 2 weeks ago. It's called Red, White, and Blue, and it's a blend. They found a vineyard up north, I believe it was in Lodi, where the vines, over the many decades, different viticulturists had gone through and planted different varietals in the same vineyard, which isn't necessarily the norm. And these grapes had kind of grown through together. And so they harvested these grapes, and they made this, hence the red, white, and blue. They made this blend of wine. And they actually, I believe it was Wine Enthusiast magazine, just gave it 94 points.
Yeah, and that's what's so great. Yeah, what's so great about that is that actually it's. I don't believe that the company that you're talking about, they don't actually own a vineyard. They just buy grapes and then they make them. They make their wine. So it's a kind of a non-traditional way that people think about it. You think about, we're going to go to a vineyard and the wine, the people live there, and these guys are like, nope. What we're going to do is we're just going to buy grapes, make wine, and kick everyone's butt. So that's actually really cool because I think that store is literally right across the street from our studio. So we're going to have to go check check that out whenever they open. Maybe right at the break, and I'll come back and tell you how it is.
You want me to go over now?
Right? Yeah. Are they open? So it might be a little early. It is 10 o'clock on a Sunday, but anyway. So that's and the thing that I love about that is that I think that there's obviously with the internet and the explosion of sort of the access to information is that people are able to kind of enter into these fields, and there's a creative power to that because it's not just these old stodgy kind of things. It's a very big world, and I think that world will be pretty exciting for you to explore, right?
Oh yeah, it's amazing. It's changed so much. You're right. I guess there's this air of elitism, I think, that sometimes people think is there with wine, but when you actually meet the winemakers themselves, especially on the Central Coast, which is so close to us. I'm actually out in Ventura today. I was doing some wine tasting yesterday. And when you get to meet some of these individuals they're just salt of the earth people that just have a passion for wine, that just want to make something that is a reflection of where they're at. The French word for it is terroir, where the wine is a reflection of the soil, the climate, the sunlight. And they're just so passionate about the creative process. It's interesting. We don't have to drive all the way up to Napa to experience it, and you can just drive to Ventura. You can actually, we've got the wineries close to Santa Clarita. We've got Rancho Santiago, and we've got Agua Dulce. If you drive up the freeway, just 10 minutes, 15 minutes, if you want to get the vineyard experience.
There's also Geisinger as well in Fillmore.
Yeah, right. Geisinger right off the 126.
So, if you want to become a wine enthusiast, I kind of think of it like golf. Like, it's just this is why I don't play golf yet, is because I know that once I start in golf, it's this giant universe of things, and it can become consuming and expensive, as wine can as well. But the great thing about wine is that, it's such a broad different types of wines from locations to varietals that really, if any palate can be suited by it. No one will not find a wine that they like, I think, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's you can go. Some people prefer sweet wine. Some people prefer something that's what we call dry or non-sweet. And runs. That's the beautiful thing. There's actually 5,000 different types of grapes worldwide that they use to make wine.
Well, let me ask you this real fast, because I think you and I have talked about this before, Wade, as well. I prefer reds because I find the whites to be kind of sweet. So if I want to go to a white wine, what would I choose? It's not so sweet, not so fruity.
Well, it's actually either one can be sweet. Yes, you're probably right. Most of the whites that are sold because they're so popular are the sweeter white wines. But you can actually get some very nice dry white wines. There's actually some out of New Zealand that are very almost have a grapefruit flavor to them. They're wonderful that they have down there. It's a Sauvignon Blanc that they sell, comes up from New Zealand. It's even with the reds. If you decided you wanted to venture, get a red that was even a little bit on the sweeter side. Right now, what's really popular is the Old Vine Zinfandels out of Lodi. Are very rich and full, like a Cabernet, but they lack the tannin, that dry feeling that you get in your mouth, and they're a little sweeter. Not sweet like the dessert wine or like a port or a sherry, but they are very, very full, and I've recently discovered those and I'm enjoying those recently.
You said the word port, and if my wife is listening, her ears perked up because she's a big fan of port. That's actually how I got her to marry me, is I just would every date make sure she had enough port, and then I became suddenly charming. I wish that was true, so no, she's very responsible. So now we've talked a little bit about what it takes to become a sommelier. We've talked a little bit about just the incredible variety of wines there are out there. We've even talked about locally some award-winning wine. Now, for you, wanting to become a vintner, what is your goal? And do you want to have an actual vineyard? Do you want to have just a storefront where you make wine? What kind of wine do you want to make? Run me through that.
Well, as far as what I want to do is I want to be a winemaker, but I don't necessarily want to own the vineyard. It gives you the freedom to move within the different ranges. And just to give you a kind of a synopsis, California is divided into 6 major wine regions, basically by climate and soil, and then within those there's subdivisions that isolate specific types of soil and even microclimates that are within those. But if I had my own vineyard, I would obviously be locked down to a particular location. So for me, what is interesting is to be able to move around throughout the state and even into Washington, Oregon, where they've got extensive wines there, and to be able just to experiment and to with different climates, different types of grapes, even the same varietals that have slightly different flavors because of where they're grown. So that's what I'm looking to do. I don't necessarily want to have a retail store or anything like that. I just want to make wine.
Well, so I'll make sure I'm understanding you. So, like, if you were to say, you were to buy an actual physical location, that the environment, the soil, the types of grapes that would thrive in that location would be limiting to you as to you would have to make a certain type of wine or range of wines, right?
Yeah, and it just has to do with what can be grown. And I mean, you can grow it's California, so you can grow pretty much anything anywhere, but are you going to grow the optimal grape for that?
And you want the freedom to be able to kind of be the designated hitter of the wine world, really, is like you just come in and you just basically, get to make whatever kind of wine you want. If this week it's like we're gonna practice with, Washington grapes, and you know what, I'm going to do a Barbera, and we're going to find a Barbera grape here, and that will give you the freedom to kind of do whatever you want. I think that's exciting, because then that's a process where you never get tired of the same thing.
Exactly. It gives you some creative license, if you would.
Perfect. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about sort of this process of becoming a winemaker. You're listening to your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I am attorney Wade Skalsky, and this is Wade Beyond the Courtroom. Welcome back. You're listening to your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I am attorney Wade Skalsky, and this is Wade Beyond the Courtroom, where law and culture meet. Well, where we're talking about culture today is Master of Sommeliers, future candidate Stephen Jones. Stephen, do I still have you?
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect. So you were so influential and an up-and-comer in the wine world, Stephen, that I'm actually trying to log on to the mastersommeliers.org website during the break, and it's down for maintenance. And I think the reason why it's down for maintenance is they're all focused on this show right now.
Right now. You're probably right.
We're big in Belize. Yeah, we're big in Belize, and we're big in London with the Masters of Sommeliers Court.
Hey, how about Halloween wines, Stephen?
Halloween wine?
Yeah.
Yes, what goes well with candy corn?
Actually, ironically, champagne.
Champagne.
That makes sense.
So now this is actually, let's talk about a legal thing right here. So champagne, you were talking before about sort of the trade dress of bottles of wine. So if I wanted to make a sparkling wine, can I just put the word champagne on it and call it champagne?
No. You can make it exactly the way they do in Champagne, France, but you cannot call it champagne. Only sparkling wine made in Champagne, France, can be called champagne.
And that's in the region, right? And they will sue you.
Yeah.
So for like Dom Perignon, would that be champagne?
It comes from Champagne, France. That's Dom Perignon is the vineyard. Champagne is the region. But it's ironic or interesting to me is the fact that even within France, you could make, let's say that you're in Bordeaux and you want to make a champagne. You can't call it that. It has to be called Cremant.
Seems to me that rule's been violated, though. I think I've seen things in the store that say champagne. So do people do that?
They're not supposed to, and they get in trouble and they get fined when
There's a lot of in the Chinese wine section. They don't care about what they call it. They just all the wines from China. They're like, we got Bordeaux's, we got champagne, we got whatever you want. They don't care about copyright laws in China. So
actually, what's funny is the Chinese, they don't like white wines. They drink reds because white is in their culture signifies death.
Ooh,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Red is good luck. So
that makes sense.
Typically Bordeaux.
Now, here's an interesting question for you. I've never seen a Chinese wine. I'm assuming they do make wine in China, but
I've had Chinese wine.
And so I guess it's like they make like a rice wine, I guess, and sake and stuff. But do they actually have regions where they're practicing traditional winemaking and exporting it?
Yes. In fact, with the opening of the culture there in China, they have become just what's the word I'm looking for? Mass new consumers of wine. They've changed the board, if you would, on how wine is consumed in the world. In fact, just from their sheer size, there's not enough wine currently produced in the world to meet the demand that China would have if they drank as much wine as we do in the United States, and per capita.
So Stephen, how about you and I do a business venture where we just export wine to China? Where that's what we're just going to triple. We're going to.
Are you making deals right here on the air?
I think I am. This is that's what. Look, there's supply and demand, and it seems like there's what is there 1 billion people in China, and we can get like 10,000 of them to like Stephen's wine for
There'll
goodness
be a
sakes.
memo on this, I'm sure.
Right, I'm going to get in trouble. Right, the FCC. I'm violating some sort of international trade embargo with the winemakers of China. I don't know. Then here's maybe you do this. You should, as in trials, you're never supposed to ask a question you don't know the answer to. I actually don't know the answer to this. If you know the answer. So I read somewhere or absorbed from some website online, because everything on the internet is true somewhere, that we're actually going through a cork shortage in the world because of the increase of wine production. Is that true?
It is true. It is true. And that's why when you buy wines now, you'll see a lot of the corks are almost a plastic, like a resin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. Most people think that if wine has a screw top on it, that it's a cheap wine. There's something, it's just, it doesn't have a cork, so it's got to be cheap. But that's not the case. What they have found is that as far as preserving the wine, the screw top actually is the best, most economical way to do that. So as far as when you open a bottle of wine, you've got so much time before it goes bad.
So the seal's the same, though? I mean, as far as it being sealed and preserved?
I think what he's saying is the seal's better.
The seal's better.
Oh.
The seal is actually better on the... you'll actually start to see some nicer bottles coming out, especially because the cork shortage, where they're going to put screw tops on it. Because
I'm kind of a purist, Stephen. I mean, nothing like popping that cork off there.
Well, I'm with you. There's just something part of the experience, all right? Popping the cork. That's just part of the experience of having the wine.
Of course, with the plastic cork, you can pull it out as one piece. Remember your first bottle of wine you ever opened? You got half the cork inside the bottle.
Now, hold on, guys. Listen. We're going back to my Boone's Farm example. I believe that is a screw top. And Stephen, I'm telling you, when you come for your Master of Sommelier exam, just remember screw top. Philadelphia. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, listen. Thank you so much for coming on today, Stephen. We're unfortunately out of time. I'd love to have you on again as to kind of track your progress about how it's going on in the sommelier world. And thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having me, Wade.
All right. Well, what a fun show, Mike. That was
good.
I learned the thing with the screw top on the end. So my wife looks at me when I bring wine home from the store that has a screw top. I'll be like, but Stephen, the sommelier, said that this is good.
I want a glass of wine now.
I know, right?
Years ago we had Chef Piero, who's a well-known chef and wine, expert. He had a show on here, and I remember one Sunday morning we had Natural Sommelier come in, and we actually tasted wine on the air.
Nice.
And that was it got a little
radio
sketchy,
gold. Nothing
edgy,
like listening to people drink on the air. Like we're gonna have to do a show like that. People drinking on the air. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for listening today. You're listening to your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I am attorney Wade Skalsky, and you've been listening to Wade Beyond the Courtroom.